Jose Garcia Villa was born in Manila in 1908. He attended the University of the Philippines, but he was suspended in 1929 after publishing a series of erotic poems titled Man Songs in the Philippines Herald magazine. That same year, he won a short story contest through the Philippines Free Press and used the prize money to travel to the United States, where he studied at the University of New Mexico. From New Mexico, William moved to Greenwich Village in New York City. There, he became the only Asian poet in a community. In 1933, his footnote to Youth, Tales of the Philippines and Others, became the first book of fiction by a Filipino author published by a major United States-based press. Villa also continued to publish in the Philippines, and his poetry collections, mainly voices and poems, appeared in 1939 and 1949, respectively. In 1942, he published his first poetry collection in the United States, Have Come, I'm Here, which was a finalist for the 1943 Pulitzer Prize. He went on to publish several more poetry collections in the Philippines, including poems in praise of love and two in the United States selected poems and new. Villa was the recipient of numerous honors and awards, including a Guggenheim Fellowship, a Philippine Heritage Award, a Poetry Award from the American Academy of Arts and Letters, a Rockefeller Foundation Fellowship, and a Shelley Memorial Award. In 1973, he was named the National Artist of the Philippines, and he also served as a cultural advisor to the Philippine government. He died in New York City on February 7, 1997. Dudong, a farmer's son, heads home after a hard day's work in the fields, working up the courage to tell his father about his plans to marry Tiang, his sweetheart. After eating dinner, he watches with pity as his mother does the housework alone, while he himself is too tired to help. Dodong then searches for his father and finds him continuously sucking on a deceased tooth. Briefly, he considers once again urging his father to visit the dentist, but sympathizes when he realizes that he, too, would avoid the dentist if he were in the same situation. After his mother goes out, Dodong tells his father plainly that he plans to marry Tiang. This announcement is met with silence, and Dodong presses the matter impatiently. His father asks him if he must really marry and reminds him of how young he still is. However, Dodong feels that at 17 he is already sufficiently mature. His father capitulates but asks Dodong to tell his mother the news. Dodong refuses to do it himself, and even in this respect his father helplessly lets him have his way. The story jumps forward several years to the moment when Tiang, now Dodong's wife, is giving birth. Dodong leaves the house out of fear of what the house has become to him, and fear of Tiang, whose agonized cries have begun to sound like a sort of personal criticism of him. He begins to realize that he perhaps too young to be a father. Shortly after, his mother calls out to him to come back, announcing that the ordeal is over. Looking at her, Dudong is overcome with embarrassment, as if he had taken something that was not properly his. His father comes out and informs him that the child is a boy. They call out repeatedly to Dudong, who stands still in the sun until he has no choice but to come back. Avoiding his parents' eyes, Dudong walks ahead of them gloomily, wishing for some kind of punishment. With kind voices, Dudong's mother and father greet him, the latter gripping Dudong's hand gently. They led him into the room where Tiang and the baby are. Dudong observes Tiang with pity and a repeating sense of embarrassment. When he hears his newborn son cry out, however, Dudong feels a swell of happiness and asks to hold him. His first child is named Blas. Dudong has many more children over the years, a fact which angers him, as he did not want any more. However, it did not seem like something he could stop. These events take a heavier toll on Tiang, who loses her youthful figure. The work she has to do around the house is endless, and she cries sometimes, wishing that she had not married. However, she keeps this to herself so as not to upset Dudong. Nonetheless, she wonders what would have happened if she had married another suitor from her youth, a man whom she knows remains childless to this day, despite having also married. Despite all of this, Tiang knows that she loves Dudong. Meanwhile, Dudong wonders bitterly why so many of his dreams have gone unfulfilled and why he feels forsaken despite chasing after love. Turning inward, he searches for the answer but finds none. One night, the 18-year-old Blas comes home, troubled and restless. He is unable to sleep, and so Dodong asks him what's wrong. Blas calls out softly to his father and announces his plan to marry a girl named Tona. At this news, Dodong lies silent and unmoving. When Blas asks his father to think about it, Dodong rises from his mat and tells Blas to follow him outside. In the moonlight, Dodong asks Blas again if he is sure of marrying and if he must. Blas replies resentfully that he is sure and asks if Dudong has objections. Even though Dudong replies that she has none, deep down he wishes to spare his son from the same fate that has befallen him. He looks at his son helplessly with a mixture of regret, sadness, and pity.